One way to increase student voice in this decision-making process, the student agency, is by using Hyperdocs. Hyperdocs are just fancy slides, docs, Jamboard, whatever tool you want to use to conduct an entire unit, almost like an entire learning cycle, like if you're familiar with the 5E learning cycle, for instance. Lets students do that. Sometimes it offers choice in what they do along the way in their path, but it always offers choice as to the pace that they use, the time to an extent, the place that they complete it. And basically, it's just a long assignment, multiple days with multimedia links, and it's based on standards. So here's an example of how I use it, or used it this past spring with bio students. So 5E, if you're not familiar with it, it's engage. You engage the students, let them explore, then you explain what they've been exploring about, then you let them elaborate, and then evaluate. So to engage them, they had to watch a video, then look around, and then type some answers here. So I use slides. It's not fancy. I'm not pretty. If you want pretty, I'm not your person. I have ideas, but I am not good at making things look good. They had to review, and then they were ready to go on to explore. They did a simulation, and then they had to do a screenshot of their score, so we knew that they did it. There's hyperlinks in here to get to where to the materials that they need. So they've watched a video so far. They've completed a simulation. Now they need to engage with the content. Okay, they need the content to explain what's been going on. And so in this case, I let them have choices. They had to complete each of these topics, and they had a choice, 1, 2, or 3. They could choose any of these 3 choices to learn about these 4 topics. So for Punnett squares, they had video choice here, a video choice here, or CK12. So they could choose what they wanted. They had to take notes, and they had to upload them on the next one. So again, links, they have voice in their choice here, as well as the pace of their path, the place where the learning is happening, and the time that it's happening in. They had to go on and elaborate with a CK12 Plix. They had 2 of them. And then they had to also complete different practice reviews, okay? And so they did not have to join all of them. I think I wrote it on their regular agenda that they had to choose maybe like 2 of these, and they had to complete different reviews. Then just for them, I gave them big idea concepts, and then we had a check for understanding here. And so they had a open-ended Google form, formative assessment that I was able to see how they were doing. And then they were ready to start a genetic disorders project. So this is an example of a hyperdoc that I used. Again, it's not pretty. If you want pretty, there's some other pretty ones here. This website will take you to different options, different samples of ways that high school subjects have used it. So the Jabberwocky, Industrial Revolution. So if you're interested, if any of these connect with you, you can click on it. Okay, diving into Desmos, because that sounds so interesting. Although they do need to know how to use Desmos. Here you're going to see that it's a doc here. Okay. And you can definitely use this information or use this as a template too, or give ideas here. So here they have different simulations, links, they have to insert screenshots, etc. There's additional templates, whoops, at the bottom here. I don't know if I can get on it in present mode, but if you click on the bottom there, there's additional templates that you can make copies of. Feel free to use them. We do have permission. They are public domain, and I reached out to check just to make sure. So go ahead and feel free to make copies of the other templates if this is something that you could find useful to use in your classroom.